This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators. We have breaking news in the Emmanuel Haro case. Let's get started.
You wake up every day angry.
I was gonna get the diaper and somebody said hola.
To say to whoever has my children that they please. We just hoping that he
functioning autistic.
I was gonna get the diaper and somebody said hola.
happy and alive.
Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop.
This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Today, we're going to be talking about the baby Emmanuel case. We are going to be talking about Rebecca Haro and this bruise that she supposedly got on this case. I just do want to just check one thing. All right, just making sure we are live. Okay, so come on in. Please share this on your social media accounts and please give this a thumbs up. You guys know that live streams and videos like this tend to be deboosted. They tend to be demonetized. They do, you know, people can commit crimes like this, but they don't really like us talking about it. So I'm going to be very careful and respectful in the way that I talk about what happened to baby Emmanuel. He is a 7-month-old baby who disappeared, and his disappearance has galvanized the international community. It's galvanized multiple law enforcement agencies. It's galvanized an execution of search warrants. It has galvanized a seizure of evidence. So we're going to be talking about all of this. We're going to be going through this from A to Z together. So get your popcorn or some coffee or whatever. Get comfortable, put your feet up, and we're going to be going through this. So my name is Jessica Della Davies. I'm an investigative journalist, and my job is to investigate crimes, crime scenes, and potential suspects, and share with you how to do the same thing. If you have not subscribed to Reporter Room, it's free. Please consider subscribing. In the Reporter Room family, like, share. If you don't have to like the content, but by giving it a thumbs up, it lets the YouTube algorithm know that I'm doing a responsible job covering this. If you subscribe, and again, it lets the YouTube algorithm know that I'm doing a responsible job covering this. And without that, this content just simply will disappear. It'll be deboosted. It'll be demonetized. So I'm going to try to hopefully cover this, and hopefully people will get to actually see this live stream. So deputies with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office shared an update with local residents after alleged sightings of 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro were reported. Now, baby Emmanuel's mysterious disappearance has been raising eyebrows. So the latest came when deputies said that we know that the community is deeply concerned about this case. We will continue to provide information to the extent that it does not jeopardize our investigation. So law enforcement does not have an obligation to tell us everything that they know. They are legally allowed to lie to us about what they're investigating. They have a right to keep their investigation close so that they can make their case. But they said that they haven't followed up on the reported sightings of 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro, but that he has not been located. They added that while Emmanuel's father has retained an attorney, if the parents choose to work with detectives, we will welcome their cooperation to locate Emmanuel. Now, the father's attorney has been on Anywhere and Everywhere claiming that, they're cooperating. So let's pull that up really quick. So
Now by Vincent Hughes. He's an attorney who has represented Jake Haro in past cases and is speaking on Jake's behalf today.
Can you guys hear this okay? Just a quick sound check. Yes or no? Can you hear this? Can you guys hear this? Yes or no? And Jess, yes? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lori. And come on in, tell me where you're from, what country, what city, what state. Please let me know where you are from. Let's go ahead and play this. This is the attorney for the father. Now, this attorney got this father off, and we're going to go through that next, on terrible, horrific charges. And he got the father a sweetheart deal. And I just am wondering, as a community, at what point are we going to start holding these people like Jake Haro accountable for their behavior? Because he has already destroyed one child's life.
Hey, Vincent, thank you for doing this today. Big question. Why have Rebecca and Jake stopped cooperating with the police if they're desperate to find the baby and the police are looking for the baby?
I don't know where the statement that they stopped cooperating came from, Ashleigh. I spoke to the detectives yesterday, offered for Jake to continue to speak with them, have not been made aware of any requests today to speak with Jake. I don't represent Rebecca. That needs to be very clear, but I have not been asked to produce Jake. I offered to produce Jake. They voluntarily turned over all of their electronic devices, including the passwords. I think that's something that's huge that nobody has been made aware of.
Ashleigh Banfield's face on this says it all. Kudos to you, Ashleigh. She's about to call him out on his nonsense.
Let me just stop you for 1 second. I don't want to interrupt you, but you just said you don't know where the statement came from, Mr. Hughes. I'm going to read you the statement the police sent to us. Investigators interviewed multiple individuals, including Emmanuel's parents, Jake and Rebecca Haro. During those interviews, Rebecca was confronted with inconsistencies in her initial statement and declined to continue with the interview. So the statement came from the police themselves.
And I can't speak to the statement that was sent to you. I can tell you, I have personal knowledge. I reached out to the assigned detective and made Jake available. Jake wants to cooperate. Jake doesn't like the fact that nobody's listening. Court of public opinion is already out. Even yourself, it sounds like you guys already have your mind made up. Jake has voluntarily provided the electronic devices that there was a search warrant for, including the passwords. The vehicle that you were...
And I would love to know, here's my question on that. He's provided all of this. Now, we now know that law enforcement actually got a warrant, and I'm going to show you the receipts on that in just a second. Law enforcement got a warrant. He didn't voluntarily just suddenly start being a good guy and providing all this. But we know from the Stephen Stearns, we weren't born yesterday, right? We know that Stephen Stearns also provided his phone to the police after he set it back to factory settings twice. So we don't know what condition this phone was turned over to. We do know that law enforcement had to get a warrant for it. So this whole thing of, he did it voluntarily is just simply not the truth. And, this attorney can do what he wants. He can legally do what he wants. He can represent who he wants to, but it is really interesting that this is who he chooses to represent. And I'm going to share with you why this is so horrific. Why? Because he got this guy a sweetheart deal. And when I show you what this man did, we're going to look at that next.
We're saying is breaking news that you brought up at the beginning of this broadcast is not something that is new. They haven't had their vehicle since Thursday night when this alleged kidnapping happened. So it's not new that you're saying at the beginning of this broadcast that it's new information. The vehicle is gone and make it sound like they just took the vehicle today. The vehicle has been gone since Thursday.
So he is trying to bait Ashleigh Banfield into getting into an argument with him over nothing to try to change the topic. This is all deflection and strategy to try to bait her into it. She's not going to fall for it. Let's watch how she handles it.
Yeah, I haven't made my mind up, but I will say this. This is a case that is definitely different than most missing children cases I cover, and I've done this for 38 years. When the police send me out a statement saying that foul play is potentially afoot, and when we get reports that they brought cadaver dogs to the house, and that the parents aren't cooperating, then yeah, spidey senses go up. I was actually very concerned when Rebecca referred to Emmanuel in past tense as well. Are you aware of that?
So she just takes it right back to where she wants it to go. This is not Ashleigh's first rodeo. And this guy is, in my opinion, trying to deflect, trying to distract, trying to get her on the back foot by trying to complain that it's not breaking news. But he made a choice to defend Jake Haro. He could pick and choose who his clients were. And wait till I show you what Jake Haro did to another child that belonged to Jake Haro, and what this guy helped him get away with. This guy enabled him. This is my opinion, and opinions, I just wanted to see why I myself. This is my opinion, and opinions are not facts. But in my opinion, this attorney enabled Jake Haro, that this disappearance of Emmanuel Haro would not have happened if Jake Haro had gotten consequences for what he did to another child that was his.
I saw the video like anybody else. I can't speak for Rebecca. I can tell you that she doesn't have a master's degree, bachelor's degree, any other degree in public speaking. So I can't speak as to that. Same thing for Jake. The thing that I don't understand, and like you're saying, this isn't like a normal investigation. Why has the sheriff's department not even released a missing persons flyer? Let's put the onus on. There's not been one search party.
No, they did. They released the missing persons flyer. We showed it.
Thank you for watching.
He's trying to tell Ashleigh Banfield that it's her responsibility to provide him, the lawyer, with the missing persons flyer. Okay, so let's just see what the dad is up to, because he's cooperating, right? That's what we're being told. That's what we're being told. He's cooperating. Nothing to see here, folks. This lawyer, nothing to see here. He's cooperating. So this is a statement from Action Eye Live News. They said yesterday Riverside County Sheriff's deputies attempted to make contact with the Haro family at their home in Cabazon. Deputies report that the family refused to answer the door, giving the impression that no one was home. However, so this is how their attorneys claiming they're cooperating. That's just absolute nonsense. However, when Action Eye News Live knocked on the door, Jake Haro answered but declined to comment regarding the disappearance of 7-month-old Emmanuel. So absolute, I got to watch my words here, nonsense that these people are cooperating with law enforcement. Don't be fooled by this attorney. So now I want to talk to you about, we're going to look at the bruise, and we're going to go through it together. We're going to talk about how long she's had this bruise. We're going to do that in just a second, but I want to go through Abby Blabby. She has permission to show these. Now, this is I'm just going to give you a trigger warning on this. It's sad. And I'm going to watch my words so I can put this out in the most respectful way possible. On October 18th of 2018, Jake Haro, that is the father of Emmanuel Haro, and Vanessa Avina's 10-week-old daughter was admitted to Hemet Valley Hospital after she was severely beaten. She barely survived. I contacted Avina's cousin who adopted her and has taken care of her every day since this happened. Her name is Promise Faith. It was former Carolina Rose, but they renamed her Promise Faith when they adopted her. She turned 7 on July 31st. As a result of what was done to Promise Faith, she has to breathe using a tracheotomy tube. She needs frequent suctioning. She is blind. She cannot walk. She cannot talk. She has only 3% of her brain function left, and she is 100% dependent on all of her daily activity cares. They also adopted Jake and Vanessa's son, Carlos, who's formerly was known as Jake Mitchell Haro II. Carlos, they got a new name when he got adopted, who is 8 years old, was born with fetal alcohol syndrome, and Vanessa received numerous DUIs while pregnant with Promise, but miraculously, Promise was born healthy. All of her ailments began after she was harmed, I'm watching my words, by this man, Jake Haro. So now this baby Emmanuel, this is Emmanuel here, is missing, but his attorney wants to gaslight us. This is Promise. And this is a courtesy of Abby Blabby News, who has permission to put out pictures. This is Promise. This is what happened to her. This is absolutely unbelievable. And this attorney that I just showed you is the one that got Jake off on a sweetheart deal. He got 180 days, not years, days for doing this. This is what she looks like today. This is her brother. They were both adopted by other members of the family. This is their adoption day. 4 years and 10 days later, our adoption is finalized. And you can see how beautiful and precious Promise is. You can see her trach. So this is who this attorney is representing. This is who he's choosing to represent. He's choosing to represent the man that did that. The man that did that to Promise. And he got him off on the next one. So I'm going to just briefly talk about the fire next door. Then we're going to look at this bruise. A lot of people have been talking about this. Let me just pull this up really quick. And we're going to go through, we're going to stage this bruise together. But I do want to just catch everybody up because I didn't cover this yesterday. Now, I know some of you guys may have already seen this, but I do want to I don't know if this is a coincidence or not.
It's caught on fire. I don't know if it's explode or not. It's an explosion.
Okay. So this happened at the house next door to where Emmanuel Haro's parents lived. And it was set intentionally, allegedly. And there have been images of two people that are believed to have set the fire, but I don't want to share them because I don't know for sure if they set the fire or not. But there was two people seen walking away wearing backpacks. So this, and a lot of people are saying, but it's probably just a coincidence. Law enforcement right now is telling us this is just a coincidence. I am not convinced that I guess it could be a coincidence, but I think it's also possible, worth considering, that this is not a coincidence, that this was intentionally set, and maybe it was supposed to be the Haro house, or maybe there was some other evidence there. So I just think it's interesting that the next door neighbor house gets burned down, and if coincidences do happen, but I think this fire could be related. Maybe they set fire to the wrong house. What do you guys think? Are you watching closely? So it could just be that there were two random nut jobs who found out about this case and thought they were burning down the Emmanuel Haro house. There are lots of crazy people out there that do insane things. This could also have been to distract law enforcement from the disappearance of Emmanuel. So let's talk about the items that were seized. And then we're going to talk about this liar, in my opinion, right now. So we're going to talk about her bruise. So the Haro home was served with search warrants. Deputies said in an update this week. The news station KTLA was also reported that the vehicle belonging to Jake Haro, that's Emmanuel's father, was previously seized to be processed for evidence. This is from the sheriff's department. Now, this is Vincent Hughes, who we just watched on Ashleigh Banfield's NewsNation, has tried to frame this that they've turned over everything voluntarily to authorities. And we saw him gaslighting Ashleigh, trying to, act like it's not breaking news because the vehicle was confiscated the day before. So we can already see what kind of guy, in my opinion, that Vince Hughes is. But it sounds like authorities came into the house with search warrants. They came in with search dogs. They seized items belonging to Jake and Rebecca, including a vehicle. So this is very different from parents are cooperating. I do think that they maybe gave them the passwords of the phone, but I bet you we're going to find out later that these phones were reset back to factory setting, or that a lot of stuff was deleted off these phones prior to this, because I don't think this child disappeared even on the day that they said that he disappeared. So law enforcement has told us that the parents stopped cooperating, and they also refused to take a lie detector test. And they don't have to take a lie detector test, but it is unusual It is unusual for parents of a missing child to stop cooperating with law enforcement on the search for the missing child. It is unusual for parents not to rule themselves out by simply taking a lie detector test. So in an interview with KTLA, Rebecca said that the incident occurred at the Big Five sporting goods store on the night of August 14th in Yucaipa, where she went to buy a mouth guard for her older son's football practice. She said she brought Emmanuel with her and noticed he needed to be changed. She claims that a kidnapper said, "Hola," hit her in the face, giving her this black eye, and then snatched the baby. She fell to the ground, even though she doesn't have any skin knees or scratches or anything like that. And she says she only saw white, so she conveniently didn't see anybody, even though he hit her in the face. So did he come up from behind? And now we're hearing that there are reports that the camera footage pulled from the surrounding areas, that there's no evidence of another car pulling into the parking lot when Rebecca supposedly was changing baby Emmanuel. So are we supposed to believe that a kidnapper approached her, said hola, gave her a black eye, and absconded with baby Emmanuel on foot? Was he on foot? So let's look at this bruise. As a lot of you guys have pointed out that you don't think this is recent, and I think you are right. So let me take this down. Okay. So I just want to show you Rebecca's face. All right, so I would say that we can all agree that this bruise around her eye, there's another bruise there, and it looks like there's some bruising around her mouth as well. But this bruise from this eye that she claimed happened on that day. Let's look at the staging now of bruises. So this is what the color of your bruise means. As you heal, an iron-rich substance in your blood called hemoglobin breaks down the other compounds. This process makes the bruise change colors. So right at the injury, it's red. So what is her eye color? Not red. Day 1 or 2, it turns purplish or black and blue. I would say this could be purplish, maybe, but I'm leaning more toward darker than that. So could be 1 or 2 days, and then 5 to 10 days, it would be green or yellow. Definitely not green, definitely not yellow. And I think this is the most likely 10 to 14 days. It's a yellowy brown or light brown. And in my opinion, that's where we are with this. Let me know what you think. I think this is definitely a brown color. So I am thinking that this is staging this bruise at 10 to 14 days from the day that she claims that she was attacked. So my question is, let's do a poll of when you think this bruise happened. Look at the bruise carefully. And let's go back and look at the staging. Do you think that it's after injury, that it's brand new? Put brand new. If you think it's 1 to 2 days, that it's purplish or blue-black, put 1 to 2 days. If you think it's 5 to 10 days, yellow or green, put 5 to 10 days. If you think it's 10 to 14 days because it's turned a light brown, put to 10 to 14 days. I think it looks like it's light brown. It could also be the purplish black, though, so I'm just curious what you guys see. Texas Life, Julie. So let's see where you guys are at. 1 to 2 days, you think it's purple. 10 to 14 days. And I think that whenever this bruise took place, I think if we can stage the bruising, I think we're going to find out when this child disappeared. Because I think these are all related. I think that Jake Haro lost it, and he went after her, and he went after this baby. Does that mean she's not culpable? Of course not. She's of course culpable. If she faked and hoaxed a kidnapping on this baby, she's absolutely culpable. All right, let's see what you guys say about this. Let me see where we are. All right, so 10 to 14, 10 to 14. Thank you for modding today, Mike. Thanks for modding today, Lori. Lori says 10 to 14. Thanks for modding today, Tara. 5 to 10. Cheryl thinks 5 to 10. Crafty One says it looks way older than a few days. Barbara, thank you for modding. Says 10 to 14 days. No swelling either. Yeah, you're right. Good point. Lexi Lady says there's no swelling around the bruise. That's true. And then if you look at these that are in the corner of her mouth down here, and then the other eye, which appears, it does look like she's got multiple injuries. So I do think this is a DV victim. This doesn't mean she can't also be a perpetrator. I'm not absolving her. I just want to make that clear. But I do think there could be some coercive control and some DV going on. And Lexi, I agree with you. This is why I love reading your comments. No swelling either. Chris Ann thinks it's 10 to 14 days. Barbara thinks 10 to 14 days. Michael thinks it's 10 days plus. Kathleen, thank you for modding, says 10 to 14 days. 10 to 14. And Jazz is our other head mod with Michael, says it's 5 to 10 days. Lori says, I agree with you. Thank you for modding today, Lori. Siri says, that is at least 5 to 10 days. Absolutely not a fresh bruise. Critical care nurse over here, 25 years of speaking. Okay, so Sirius Black is a critical care nurse. I do know this. So she is telling us with her expertise that it is at least 5 to 10 days. So this gives us a little bit of a timeline of when Emmanuel disappeared. So he was reported missing a week ago today. So back that up 10 days so that would be backing it up to around August the 3rd, August the 4th is when I believe. So I guess my question is, when was the last time someone outside of Rebecca and Jake and the grandmother, because I'm sorry, she has, I gave her the benefit of the doubt the other day, but after seeing what Jake did to this other child, the family doesn't get the benefit of the doubt from me anymore. So Tammy thinks it was a couple weeks. Manic says, I was thinking about that. Michael said, okay, I believe Kim thinks it's more than 5 days. Thriller thinks it's 5 to 10 days. Granger says she could tell the police to protect her and tell the truth. Yeah, she could. Barbara thinks it's an older bruise. Shelly thinks it's 10 to 14 days. Tammy thinks it's 10 to 14 days. Mike thinks she is a victim. I think she is. You can be a victim and a perpetrator. So I'm not saying that absolves her of what she did, which is hoaxing, right? Kathleen says she's too scared of him and does what he says. I think so. Allison thinks it's 5 to 10 days. And Michael's asking people, please don't time people out just for having a different thought or opinion. Please. Yeah. So everybody here can make up their own mind. I do want to welcome Marcelin Rinker I hope I'm saying your name right, Marcelin Rinker, as a brand new Reporter Room channel member. Welcome to the Reporter Room family. So thank you so much. All right, so let's continue on. So that's staging the bruise. So the last time that I believe Emmanuel was seen was probably somewhere around, beside somebody outside the family, is really crucial, because I do not believe he got abducted that day. Now, Jacob Haro's attorney, Vincent Hughes, he's the one that got this sweetheart deal for the conviction that Jake Haro got for child cruelty. He said there was this is him making excuses, in my opinion. There was a conviction for child cruelty, which Jake is not running from. He's not hiding from his record. It's publicly available. Well, yeah, duh. We've been reporting on this. This is such an understatement and such a minimizing of what Jake did to this child that I just showed you the pictures of. If you're just joining me, back it up and look at it. This child has 3% brain function. Jake should have never been allowed to walk free in society after this. But apparently, whoever was the judge on this didn't think that he got 180 days and reportedly was allowed out for work release. So at what point are we going to start valuing children in our society? The SBCSD said in an update on Monday that investigators interviewed multiple individuals, including Jake and Rebecca Haro. And during those interviews, Rebecca was confronted with inconsistencies in her initial statement and declined to continue the interview. And at this point in the investigation, investigators are unable to rule out foul play in the disappearance of Emmanuel. So this whole thing about, from the lawyer, we're cooperating. No, they wouldn't answer the door when law enforcement came to the door. They pretended they weren't home. So that's just a point blank lie. So let's look at what law enforcement has to say on this, because they weighed in. and said that they were not cooperating on this, that they were not cooperating. So this whole thing about their cooperating from the attorney is just muddying the waters. And you saw him repeatedly trying to gaslight Ashleigh Banfield. Now we have these rumors from five big employees. And the reason I'm calling them rumors, and I did share with you guys the screenshots. Let me see if I have those handy, if I can pull those up really quick. Oh, this is the traffic lights too. Let me make myself. The last time baby Emmanuel was seen. So this is, we are hearing now that they're pulling up footage. This is traffic lights from Abby Blabby's channel that show all the security cameras that are in and around the area that would show, did Rebecca have baby Emmanuel in the car when she was going to the Big Five? Was he in the car with her, or was she driving alone? There's another camera. So to me, she's toast. But I want to talk to Jake for a second too. This guy is just such bad news. The fact that they pulled up to the Haro, these people, that they're even out, is just, the fact that he was able to get out of jail at all after what he did is just, beyond the pale. But law enforcement clapped back at the parents not cooperating. They said that Rebecca Haro declined to be interviewed further when asked about the inconsistencies in her story about Emmanuel's disappearance. They have said point blank they're not able to rule out foul play. And then Jake Haro's lawyer, Vincent Hughes, is gaslighting everybody, gaslighting us through on the Ashleigh Banfield, that the parents voluntarily turned over their electronic devices and their passwords. But we now know that law enforcement got warrants for this. So much for the voluntary. They may have given the passwords, but dollars to donuts, we're going to find out later, they deleted the information on their cell phone. So according to NewsNation's, warrants were issued for the cell phone belonging to Rebecca and Jake, who are the parents of baby Emmanuel. These warrants were issued as deputies continued their search for the missing 7-month-old in Southern California. On Wednesday, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department confirmed it received a tip about a possible sighting of Emmanuel near the Kern County, but he has not been found. Now, this possible sighting of Emmanuel, many people are wondering if this was called in by an extended family member or at the behest of the parents to disrupt the investigation and to muddy the waters in an attempt to distract from this. So I am really, really wondering what is going on here in this case. I just feel like we're getting gaslit here. All right, let's show this next. And I give you guys so much credit for the sleuthing that you guys are doing on this. I think we need all hands on deck. And if you have any tips and you want to DM me, I'm on Twitter at Davies Writer. You can see my handle scrolling by. House fire next door. It makes me wonder if a neighbor said something that Jake Haro didn't like, and this was vindictive. I had some people asking me, how do you know they were cadaver dogs? That is, they said law enforcement didn't confirm that. Yes, they did. I reported it out to you guys, but I just wanted to share my sourcing on that today. I could do that more easily during a live stream than a video.
Still holding on to hope that baby Emmanuel is okay. Anybody with information should contact the Sheriff's Department.
So I don't want to assume that, that he's gone without some kind of proof or evidence that he's no longer with us. I would like some type of confirmation on that. But let's go through quickly the timeline of what the parents are claiming and also what we know so far. August 14th, Emmanuel's mother, Rebecca Haro, reported missing from the Big Five sporting goods store. Now, employees from the Big Five sporting goods store, and I showed you guys this on a prior video that I put out this week, and I showed you guys the sourcing on this. They're claiming, I can't say for sure that they work at Big Five, but they said but I do believe that Rebecca and Jake Haro went into the Big Five sporting goods store to find out if they had cameras. They pretended like they had gotten something stolen and wanted to know about cameras. So she claims she was attacked while changing baby Emmanuel's diaper and knocked unconscious, only to find baby Emmanuel gone when she awoke. Rebecca's bruise is so dark that in my opinion, and you guys can have a different thought, I think it's around 10 to 14 days old. So 10 to 14 days before August 14th puts it back to, I think, around August 3rd. So when was the last time that baby Emmanuel was seen outside of this family, outside of the family? August 15th, the San Bernardino deputies and canine units launched an extensive search, but the baby was not located. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office issued a statement confirming the ongoing search. August 16th, authorities stated they could not rule out foul play in Emmanuel's disappearance. August 17th, police visited the Haro home in Cabazon as part of the investigation. August 18th, extensive searches were conducted in Yucaipa and Cabazon. Investigators reviewed a large amount of surveillance footage connected to the case. August 19th, authorities received a tip about a possible sighting of Emmanuel in Kern County, according to KTLA. Emmanuel's father's car was also seized on the 19th, so it's the day before yesterday, as part of the investigation. So he didn't turn his car over voluntarily. News reports also reveal that Rebecca Haro is the sister of James Beauchasson, I hope I'm saying that correctly, who was convicted of red rum in 2017. So the grandmother of baby Emmanuel, said she couldn't imagine that Jake and Rebecca would do something like this. Comes across slightly disingenuous when you find out that her son, he did away with someone and then tried to make it look like this person did it to themselves. I'm watching my words. August 20th, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department confirmed that they're following up on reported sightings in Kern County, but Emmanuel had not been located. Warrants were issued for the parents' cell phones, so not voluntarily turned over. Law enforcement got warrants. This is reported out by NewsNation. It was also reported that a 2-year-old child, I've heard that there were 2 children, were removed now, as of today's reporting, from the Haro family home. I think if there are any kids in that house, they should all be removed till law enforcement gets to the bottom of this. August 21st, which is today, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department provided another update, reiterating that Emmanuel's remains missing despite following up on reported sightings. Again, I believe that this is probably people who are doing this at the behest of Jake and Rebecca Haro, or it could just be people who like to inject themselves into cases like this for attention. But I believe it's an attempt to muddy the waters. They also mentioned that they are in communication with fire investigators regarding the fire at the home next door, the neighbor of the Haro residents. But at this time, we don't have any indication from law enforcement that the fire is related to Emmanuel's disappearance. I'm just wondering, did somebody burn down the wrong house? Were they supposed to get rid of all the evidence? Remember, the cadaver dogs were in there. If you wanted to get rid of the crime scene, that would be a good way to do it. Did they go in and burn the whole house down? Or is this just a coincidence? Because supposedly this was arson and 2 people did it. And I could see one crazy person maybe, off their rocker and it's a coincidence and they did it. But the fact that 2 people supposedly showed up and burned this house down and were seen walking away from the fire. I'm not showing their images because I don't want to impugn them in case they didn't do it. But if it's 2 people, what are the odds that 2 people are both crazy and did it? I don't think so. To me, that reduces the odds. To me, it looks more like somebody intentionally did this. So was this retribution because the neighbor said something that Jake didn't like? Allegedly, in my opinion, is this they burned down the wrong house? What do you guys think? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. So news reports also detail injuries to Emmanuel's half sister, which I showed you from his previous marriage. This is another. He's on his 3rd wife. So this is led to the child cruelty charges, and he got 180 days, and he was allowed out for work release. And that sweetheart deal, I would love to know who the judge is on that sweetheart deal. The investigation into Emmanuel Haro's disappearance is ongoing, and law enforcement have not ruled out foul play. And you guys called it right out of the gate that you guys thought that this was related, that this was hoaxed. This was a hoaxer.
Developing tonight in the search for a missing 7-month-old. Detectives are not ruling out anyone's involvement. KCAL's Jasmine Veal spoke to the father's attorney, who was pushing back on investigators. He says the family is cooperating.
Find Emmanuel. That's what we need. That's all we're asking for.
Defense attorney Vincent Hughes is speaking on behalf of Jake Haro.
So more deflection. Don't look at Jake. Don't look at this guy right here. Just find him. You know, a law enforcement is trying to find him. The only reason Jake and Rebecca aren't wearing silver bracelets right now is because law enforcement needs to find Emmanuel. We know this from the Quentin Simon case. Law enforcement were pretty sure that Leilani Simon did what she did to Quentin, right? She was ultimately convicted, but they didn't slap the bracelets on her until they found the baby. They had to search a garbage dump. Now, I think that this baby was disposed of, which is going to make it a little bit harder. Leilani called law enforcement the same day. I think this could have happened as early as August the 3rd.
32-year-old father of 7-month-old Emmanuel, who has now been missing 5 days.
Nobody is searching for a 7-month-old child. That's the big issue here.
Jake's wife, Rebecca.
Yeah, don't look at my client. Just search for the child. Nobody's searching. Are you kidding? This child's picture is everywhere. We just don't believe your client, sir.
Rebecca says someone punched her and took her baby as she was changing his diaper in a Yucaipa parking lot around 7:30 p.m. last Thursday. Hughes says since that night, San Bernardino County Sheriff Department investigators have turned their focus on the couple, including Haro's criminal past, and accusing them of not cooperating in the investigation.
But there was a conviction for child cruelty, which Jake is not running from. He's not hiding from his record. It's publicly available information.
Right. It's not important. It's not important. He's not running from it. He's not hiding from it. This attorney is the one that got him the sweetheart deal of 180 days, not months, not weeks, not years, days. And he was let out for work release. He was convicted in 2023. So if they had locked him up like they should have, this wouldn't have happened. But he has a felony complaint in Banning, a co-defendant with then wife Vanessa Haro, an incident on October 12th. And what they're calling an incident is what I just showed you with beautiful baby, the beautiful little girl Promise.
Records show Haro had a 2023 conviction for willful child cruelty from a felony complaint filed in Banning in 2018 that lists him as a co-defendant with his then wife Vanessa. Hughes represented him in that case.
There is no nexus between that case and this case here, and he should not be judged based on his past.
Hughes says
he shouldn't be judged based on his past, but the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Of course, he should be judged based on his past. Look what he did to that baby.
He's a good father and loves his 2 children with Rebecca. Social workers did remove a 2-year-old from the couple's Cabazon home. This after they say they confronted Emmanuel's mother with inconsistencies in her account of what happened, and they have not ruled out anyone's involvement.
Not one.
And how much do you want to bet that the traffic lights that I showed you, and there's also security cameras. There's a jewelry store near this Big 5 sporting goods store. You think the jewelry store doesn't have cameras? Of course they do. Jewelry store is absolutely going to have security cameras. So the idea that there's no security footage, I think they went into this Big 5, asked if they had security cameras. This has been reported out by Big 5 employees. I cannot confirm. Oh, let me pull this up though, because SF Investigates did confirm this. Let me pull him up on Twitter for a second. I know some of you guys don't like him, but I welcome, as I always do, anybody who wants to come in and help on these missing kids cases. I'm all in on it. Let me just see if I can pull him up. Let me pull that up. I don't know if he's under SF Investigates or if he's under Steve Fisher. Let me see. There he is. Oh, he's got an underscore. Okay, so let me just show this for a second. We'll come back to this. We're not done. We'll come back to this, but let me just pull this up. Okay. So, he just posted this just a couple of minutes ago. I pulled Jake Haro's actual sentencing. And I'm going to watch my words here for what he did to Promise, the little girl I showed you, leaving her permanently incapacitated with only 3% brain function, blind, and unable to care for herself in any capacity. So the damage that he did was catastrophic, you guys. Jake received only a 180-day sentence, but served only 1 day. Oh my gosh. Who is the judge? The judge gave him work release. He was able to go to work and sleep at home. He was only forced to report to jail for 1 day in order to process him. That's what you get in Riverside, California for essentially, I have to watch my words here. 1 day. 1 day in county jail. And what happened, he's saying the blood of Emmanuel Haro is on the DA that agreed to this deal. As far as I'm concerned, this is outrageous. He's right. This is absolutely outrageous. Referral notice generated. So he shows the receipts. RSO work release. Be committed to the custody of the Riverside County Sheriff for 1 day for booking purposes only. Report to the nearest Riverside County Jail by June 6th of 2023. Minute order printed by Robert Presley Detention Center. He shows this too. Inmates in work release programs may also typically go to their families at night instead of checking into a correctional facility with regular check-ins at the correctional facility as required by the court. Be committed to the custody of the Riverside County for 180 days. Credit for time served of 0 actual days plus 0 days pursuant to 4019 PC for total of 0 days. 179 days to be served in a work release program. Report on or before. So he didn't have to serve. He served 1 day of jail time. Referral notice, and that attorney that I've showed you, Vincent Hughes, got him this deal. Be committed to the custody of the Riverside County Sheriff for 1 day for booking purposes only. Report to the nearest Riverside County Jail by June 15th of 2023. Minute order printed. You guys, this is just like beyond the pale. And then I wanted to see, okay, so this is also, he says, this is Steve Fisher. Let me make it smaller so I can read it, and then I will show you this. So he says that the Jake Haro's attorney claims that law enforcement dug holes in the backyard. So they, I'm sure they did. They're probably wondering if they buried this child in the backyard. Some creators are also reporting this based on the lawyer's statement, but it's not true. Okay, so not true. I scanned the property yesterday specifically for signs of digging. There were none. The lawyer is lying. So let's look at what he shot. This is credit to Steve Fisher at SF Investigates. So this is the house, and he got his drone, it looks like, and flew it over to see if law enforcement was digging. And he's right. I don't see anybody digging. So the lawyer lied about that. This is according to SF Investigates. The lawyer lied. He tried to gaslight Ashleigh Banfield. And this lawyer could choose who he wants to represent. But you could see how easy it would be to get rid of Emmanuel and how hard it would be for law enforcement to find this child. So he did a zoom in, no sign of any law enforcement digging, no sign of any holes that were dug. So this is just all nonsense, according to SF Investigates, Steve Fisher. All right, so let's keep going. So this is what, this is the video. I will show you this too that's been being passed around. This is a great get by a creator who obtained surveillance video from the store next to the Big Five in the Emmanuel Haro case, but it's a shame it was altered by playing it at 4 times speed while the timestamp advances in 2-time increments. The purpose of the surveillance is to show events exactly as they occurred. Unaltered, it could have reliably shown the sequence leading up to the dispatch of the 2 units at 7 hours 47 minutes and 7 hours 47 minutes and 51 seconds, 19:47:51 on the video. Once altered, it cannot be relied on, and you lose critical details such as a person's gait that may help with identification. These screenshots show that the 207 kidnapping dispatch and the altered video at the exact time step. So let's take a look. Oh, I can't. All right. So he just posted a screenshot of it. But apparently law enforcement's going around and they are finding that there was no other car that pulled in. So this kidnapper would have had to have come on foot. And are we really supposed to believe that a kidnapper ran in on foot, said hola? How did he know that this woman spoke Spanish? Why would he say hola? Hit her in the face, and the black eye just miraculously went to like an older looking bruise. It's not pink and red. There's no swelling, as one of you guys pointed out. He said, the number one question I have in the Emmanuel Haro cases, which I am sure investigators know the answer to, is when was Emmanuel last seen by anyone other than the parents or grandparents? This is the starting point for this search. Rebecca Haro and her mother have said the baby was not vaccinated. Oh my gosh. Which is, they cite this as the reason that he was not seen in public with Rebecca, such as the football field. So she didn't have the baby with her when she went to the game, but she supposedly had him with her when she arrived at the Big Five sporting goods store. You could see why law enforcement, that would have been they would have been pulling all the cameras. And I showed you guys the pictures of those a few minutes ago. He said there's a video of Rebecca attending her brother's funeral on August the 5th. The baby is not with her. So this puts us back to August 4th, August 3rd, which is, I thought I was going to, maybe it would be around August 3rd. I could be off by a day or two. Who was caring for him then? If not Jake, the caregiver would be able to confirm whether Emmanuel was alive at this time. So he's sharing key questions. Where was Emmanuel last seen by someone outside the immediate family? What was the last verifiable date that he was seen alive? Where was he last seen alive? And these, I am sure, these are questions that law enforcement have answers to. However, family statements are still important. I would challenge Rebecca's mother, that's the grandmother, who has been defending her daughter online, to give a statement as to the date she last saw Emmanuel in person and the location. And then he says, this is a video of the drive Rebecca Haro would have taken from the football field to the Big Five, assuming the most direct route. I filmed it to see how many surveillance cameras would capture her vehicle along the way. Surveillance footage of her driving along the route doesn't solve anything in and of itself. Still, each segment of the footage is evidence and a piece of the puzzle, and combined with all of the evidence will help to eventually still tell the story of what happened to Emmanuel. So let's look at this together. This is from...
So this is the location of the football practice. So this will be the drive to the sporting goods. There's a camera there. To the drive to the Big Five.
And I showed you guys photographs in a few minutes ago, if you're just joining me, with cameras circled as well from Blabby True Crime. So he is driving to see where the cameras are that on the route that Rebecca would have had to have taken with baby Emmanuel in that car. I see cameras. Oh, those are birds. Is that a camera there? Right there?
So
that
that's
looks like
actually
a camera.
A police station.
And there's a
so,
they would have
sure
cameras.
Cameras.
I see a camera up there on that light.
There's one camera right there. So they'd be able to see her making this turn.
Mm-hmm. Law enforcement picked up all this footage.
Tracker. There's down the front of that building. And then, there's various cameras. There's one.
So they're going to know right away if she had this baby in the car with her. Did she already have a black eye in the camera?
There.
He found another camera. Okay, I think that's looks like a bird. So I'm looking. I don't see any cameras. So I'm wondering if this route was chosen because there weren't a lot of cameras, or if this area just doesn't have a lot of cameras.
These rental places always have tons of cameras facing.
Oh yeah, you can see the rental storage area. You can see the camera right here. They always have cameras. They want to know who's coming in, who's coming out.
There's two right there. They have tons of cameras because of the equipment.
Those of you just
Gas
joining
stations.
me, we're taking a drive with private investigator SF Investigates Steve Fisher, where he drove Rebecca's route and is pointing out the cameras.
Looks like they got 360 cameras. And then the camera that most likely got her in the parking lot is that jewelry store right there. And this is the parking lot for the Big Five.
Yeah, jewelry stores always have a lot of cameras. They would have probably the best quality of cameras too. And there's the Big Five.
That's the Big Five there. So,
well, that was really helpful. So that is Steve Fisher. Let's keep going. We're going to go back to the news interview in a second, but he also points out that there's a possible Ring camera on the back door. Let me see if I can just on the back door. You can see it there. A possible Ring camera on the back door. Surveil warning signs. Possible mounted camera here. And he says, although I didn't show any of the tighter footage this drone made specifically for the SAR and public safety, the attached screenshot is taken at a 5x zoom, but this drone has a 200x zoom capacity, so the ground can be scanned with amazing high definition. So that's the image that he took, and then we just looked at the close-up of that. And then he has an overhead view of Emmanuel Haro and his parents, Jake and Rebecca Haro. No vehicles were visible in the driveway. If something happened to Emmanuel at this location, the key question is whether they might have taken him, where they might have taken him. The starting point is estimating how far someone would go to create enough distance from the home to feel secure, and then work outward from there. So this is drone footage that Steve Fisher shot from SF Investigates of the Haro home. And you can see how much area there is. So how close to the house would they have felt comfortable to, if they were, going to bury him? And however law enforcement determines that, will help them try to figure out where this child is. Or maybe he could have been thrown in a dumpster. All right, so let's go back. So that is Steve Fisher from SF Investigates. Let me check in with chat, and then we're going to go back to the attorney and his claims. I want to say thank you to Michael for the $1.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. for my medical. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I just got off crutches. I fell, and anyway, I had to go to the ER to get checked out. They wanted to see if I had a head injury. And Josh, thank you so much for gifting 5 reporter room memberships. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you got one of those, please make sure you say thank you to NJS. That is so kind of you. Marcelin, welcome as a brand new reporter room channel member. NJS, aw, you guys don't have to do that. Please don't feel like you have to do that. I just wanted to tell you where the super chat money was going to go for this month. I just wanted to be open and honest with that, but please don't feel like you have to do that. Thank you so much, NJS, for the 50 pounds for the help with the medical. Thank you so much, but please don't feel like you have to do anything. Just being here is, helps me out a lot. Allison, thank you for being a reporter room channel member. Welcome to the reporter room family. And thank you, Allison, for the $4.99 super sticker. Allison says, Jessica, I saw a report today that showed Jake has filed workman's comp, claiming that his last 6 employers, if anyone wonders about where they get their money. So he has filed workman's comp's claims against his last 6 employers. That's scammy, right? Allegedly, in my opinion, that's a scam. That many times, sounds like a scam. That doesn't sound right. Does that sound right to you guys? All right, so let's listen. Let me move myself down. Let's listen in to this lawyer. Now, this is the lawyer that got him the sweetheart deal. We got to find out the name of that judge, you guys, because if he's an elected official, he cannot be elected back into the bench. If he was appointed, then they're stuck with him. But man, oh man, that's. And please don't send any negativity to anyone. Please don't send any negativity. I'm not saying that. I just, think people can be held accountable by publicly pointing out that the fact that they gave this guy a sweetheart deal and this attorney helped. It's, nothing to see here. My client shouldn't be held accountable for things he did in the past. Yet, I disagree. I think he hasn't been held accountable for what he did to this little girl.
One thing has been cited as an inconsistency. Law enforcement is being extremely tight-lipped about the situation.
Hughes says they are both willing to talk to detectives and have handed over their vehicles, cell phones, and passwords and allowed detectives.
And I already showed you receipts that's a lie. Detectives knocked on the door. Jake Haro, and I don't know if Rebecca's in there with him, pretended he wasn't home. He didn't answer. And then when the press came by, he opened the door. So I already showed you receipts that's a lie. They're not cooperating. And also that law enforcement had to get a warrant for the phones.
With cadaver dogs into their homes.
They've searched the home. They've cut holes in the ground in the home.
And we just saw SF Investigates shows that is not true. There are no holes cut in the ground. So in my opinion, I have to be careful. Allegedly, this man is lying to us. He's gaslighting us.
Dug holes in the backyard. They've done everything. Nothing's been found.
Where's the holes? Show us the pictures of the holes.
The attorney says that detectives showed the couple some security video that was taken from a liquor store across the street of when Rebecca says the baby was taken from her vehicle.
Something falls, gets back up. That seems to corroborate exactly what Rebecca's story was in the beginning.
This is what I think Rebecca did. Okay, this is what I think Rebecca did. I think Rebecca, this is my theory, so speculation warning. I think Rebecca pulled into the thing, opened up the back thing like she was going to change the baby, maybe opened up her trunk, and she laid down. I don't think she fell because she doesn't have any skinned knees or scratches. She made sure to point out the black eye, but didn't point out any skin knees or scratches, right? So I think Rebecca lay down, and she was probably hoping somebody was going to come by and find her. She was just lying there. She was probably waiting for somebody to come by and find her, and nobody came by. And so then she had to get up off the ground and pretend that she'd been knocked out. And then she ran around the building, took a lap around the building, and then, oh my gosh, my baby's missing. That's what she did, in my opinion, allegedly. All right, let's continue on with this gaslighting that we're getting from this attorney. Please don't send any negativity to anybody, but I'm just going to call it out. There's no holes. Steve Fisher proved to you that there's no holes. This guy is not telling the truth. Allegedly, in my opinion.
In the beginning.
I think the surveillance video is going to play a big role in this.
Defense attorney Lou Shapiro, who is not involved in this case, says the sheriff's department is keeping all their options open by now calling this a critical missing child case instead of a kidnapping.
What's unusual, though, is it's very rare, especially these days, for a random person to go and snatch a child from parents.
Yeah, the statistics on that are 0.01%, not 1%, 0.01%. Very, very low.
And I think that's what's troubling law enforcement here.
The department says they are even aware of a tip that the baby was spotted in Kern County, something Hughes would like them to keep investigating and hopes the public will step up.
Just more gaslighting from this lawyer. I mean, just lots and lots of gaslighting from this guy. Just really egregious, in my opinion. Saying they cut holes in the yard. Of course, that's not true. I'm so glad Steve Fisher got out there and did that drone footage to just show that's not true. Because that's some serious gaslighting right there. Tried to tell Ashleigh Banfield she wasn't reporting out breaking news. I mean, just lying to all of us. Thank you to our producers. We're not done. Njaz, Sasha Angel, George Brown, Michael L. Cole, and Christy Ballantyne. Thank you to our channel members. I just want to say thank you because you guys allow me to cover some of these smaller, more niche cases. Although this one is starting to take off around the country, rightfully so. What has happened in this case is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that this man, Jake Haro, served 1 day in jail for destroying the life of an 18-week-old baby is absolutely beyond the pale. The fact that he was let out for 179 days of work release, including being allowed to sleep at home, is nothing. Is nothing. I know people who have, like, I don't know them personally, but I mean, I've seen cases where people have done a fraction of this amount and have gotten substantial jail time. This guy destroyed the life of an 18-week-old baby and got 1 day in jail. Who is the judge that signed off on this? We know the lawyer was Vincent Hughes, but who's the judge? But please don't send any negativity. I want to do super thanks and coffee gratitude. Thank you so much, you guys, and gifted channel memberships from our last live stream that we did the other day. So I think that this comes back to, when was this bruise really made? And when did this baby really disappear? Because I am not convinced, after looking at the stages of the bruising, that this bruise happened that day. There is no swelling, as you guys pointed out in the chat. It does not, it usually would turn red. It's not red. That is not red to me. That looks like a light brown. Maybe at best case scenario, it's purple. But it seems like there would still be swelling if it was 1 or 2 days. I think it's most likely, this is just my opinion, I think it's most likely the 10 to 14 days where it turns a light brown. That's what this looks like to me. It could be purple though, but I don't see any swelling. One of you guys pointed out there's no swelling. So I do think that that is interesting. Thank you so much, Green Eyes Sparkle, for the $1.99 super sticker. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much. Lady Lexi says, justice for baby Emmanuel. Lori said, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be asking that question. Who is this judge? Yeah, but please don't send any negativity or anything toward anybody. I do think we can, people can vote. If he's elected, he should not be reelected to office. And Edjaz is saying, please like, share, and subscribe. What it does is it lets YouTube know that I'm covering this case responsibly, that I'm not being irresponsible on this. And let me just show you guys. Let me make sure I'm showing you what I think I'm showing you. Nope. Okay, now Rebecca's vehicle was not there. And so many people are. Okay, so let me just show you guys this. This is, if you guys want to give me a tip, This is my Twitter account. It's called X now. And if you click over the check mark, you can see I was verified in June of 2021. And the reason that this is important is I know people can buy a blue check mark now. Okay. And I'm not impugning somebody who does, because that's the only way to get your blue check mark. But I didn't, mine, I actually had to verify that I was a journalist to get verified on Twitter. I had to provide them with all kinds of newspaper articles that I had written. So I just want to say that if you want to DM me, my DMs are open. You can send me a DM on Twitter if you have a tip that you want me to know about, and I will respond to you. The other way that you can talk to me, I don't private message on Facebook, but the other way you can get in contact with me is to join the Facebook Reporter Room group. And we're all in there. I think if you type in Reporter Room and Emmanuel, it should pop up for you. And you can join me in there. I do not private message with people on Facebook. I do private message and do read my DMs on Twitter. It just limits the amount of places I have to check for messages by just having it on the one platform. And Michael's, who's our head mod along with NJAWS, says that this is the Facebook group, and this is the link to it if you want to come and hang out with us and talk about this case in a kind and caring true crime community. Julie says, also in one interview, she said she didn't turn around, but how is she? Right, exactly. One interview, she said he came up from behind. And then in the other interview, she said he said hola. So this story has more holes in it than a slice of Swiss cheese. Boy, it sure does. I mean, really is shocking. Bridget said, if you can't call it out as you see it, why can't we? If you can call it out as you can see it, why can't we? You can. Is somebody telling you can't call it out? I'm not sure I understand. Maybe I misunderstood your comment, but you can absolutely call it out as you see it. Absolutely. Laura says he was given the freedom. Yeah, he was. This is my X account that HeadMod NJAWS, and this is our Facebook group if you want to come and hang out with us. Queen agrees with you, Alora. Tara says they said something today about the parents trying to get to India. Oh my gosh, are they trying to flee? Let me see what I can find out about that. Let me pull that up. Let me see if I can find any credible sourcing. Because this could just be someone said that. I'm just looking to see if there's like any credible outlets. If you guys have a link, let me know. It looks like it's being reported out on YouTube. I cannot find it being reported out by mainstream media. This doesn't mean it's not true. It just means I can't confirm it. I'm just looking for anything that says that. So, okay, I don't see any sourcing that's claiming that. That could just be a rumor, or it could be true. Let me try Twitter too. Let me search there as well. Let me see. All right. Ooh, let me share this. Okay, so JLR has posted this. This is interesting. Okay, so this is the fraud thing that you guys were talking about. This is JLR who posted this. And he says, is Jake Haro committing fraud? He has filed numerous workers' comps injuries, claiming in the last few years how much has he collected? 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro remains missing. So he's showing his receipts here. Looks like he claimed workers' comp for Walmart, Las Palmas Estates, Amazon, Blue Triton Brands, Walmart. Wow. So that's really shady, you guys. And then he also posted that Rebecca Haro filed her own injury work claim with Lowe's. Oh my gosh, you guys. And Tony is saying, Nope, I clicked too fast. He commented underneath it. What? On the surface, they seem like such a nice, upstanding couple. Yeah, really disturbing, you guys. But I'm trying to find out about the India claims. I got distracted here. Let me make it. Let's see what we can find out. I don't see anything like popping up. We knew there's a restraining order, and Jonathan's got receipts on that new DV restraining order filed against Jake Haro yesterday by his ex, and he's got the receipts on that on X. So he's showing the petitioner is Jake Mitchell Haro. The respondent is Isabel Rebecca Gonzalez. So very, very interesting, you guys. Let me know what you think. Please watch your words so you don't get stuck in the YouTube filter. And then I never get to see your comment. Nobody ever gets to see your comments. Please watch your wording, what you use. Don't use the M word. You can use unalive or red rum. You can use, variations of that. Done away with or something like that. Just watch your words. Don't use CA. Okay. Don't use any words like that. Thank you too, Tammy. Texas Life Julie says, must be scam to top it off. Oh my, yeah. So the two of them are filing workers' comp. Lori said, these two parents and the lawyers are as shady gets, in my opinion. Definitely. Definitely. Well, you guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. If you have not subscribed to Reporter Room, I'm going to continue to be putting out videos daily on this case, and I will be going live on this case if any news breaks, but definitely going live again on this on Sunday night. But if there's any breaking news, I'll be going live before then. So please make sure you've subscribed and you've hit your notification bell. And thank you so much for coming by to spend a little bit of time with me. Thank you so much for caring about this baby. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. And Jazz, thank you for modding today. She says, thank you all for being here tonight. I will see you guys on Sunday night, but be on the lookout. There'll be another update video. I don't know what it's going to be on, but it'll be updates tomorrow, tomorrow evening, sometime between 8 and 9:30. I'll be posting another video on this case, and I'll be continuing to do daily updates. So please subscribe and hit your notification bell so you don't miss an update on this case. And come into our Reporter Room Facebook group, where we are doing updates on this case as well. And if you want to talk about it. Hey, Jody, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. If you're modding, drop me a comment. Thank you for modding. Lori and Kathleen, drop me a comment so I can shout you out. Jody is modding. I think I got all the mods. All right, I'll see you on the next one.